It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome into Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. We are brought to you by the Red, White, and Blue. Today's guests have come down from Birmingham, and they're going to talk about something that happens every year. I've talked about it quite a few times on here. We're going to bring the people that bring this to us. It's about the National Veterans Day program over in Birmingham on November the 11th, and we're going to talk with Mark Ryan and Cathy Culberson when you return. So stay where you are, get your pen, right back. Welcome back into Veterans Issues. Appreciate you tuning in this week and turning in too. We were talking earlier about we can see you. I really can't see you. I'm just jesting. But this week's guest is Mark Ryan. He's the, let me make sure I got the National Veterans Day, president of the National Veterans Day over in Birmingham. He's also the vice president of CSC Roofing, LLC. And with him is Cathy Culberson, or maybe he's with her, Secretary Treasurer of the National Day Veterans. We know who does all the work there. Welcome to the show. Got that, babe. So you can see how we did that.
That's all right.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
It's finally we're back and forth. I don't know. First of all, let me see. How many years you been doing this, Mark?
This will be our third year taking over for Bill Voigt.
Bill Voigt. The years, the folks out there watching us remember that name, Bill Voigt. That he was the go-to person for the National Veterans Day. He's the one that took all the heat. He got old real quick when you deal with these veteran troops out there. I don't envy you none, but I appreciate you doing this.
Well, we really enjoyed it.
And Cathy, how long you been with him?
Same amount of time.
Same amount.
We came along at the same time. Actually, there was an article in the paper that that had been written about Mr. Voigt, that if someone didn't come forward, that there would be no more Veterans Day in Birmingham because of his health. So Mark and another business partner read the story, called Bill, and set up meetings with him, and CSC took it over.
I remember that time. I remember getting calls. Are we going to have it? I remember seeing postings that there would be no Veterans Day this year, back between the different veterans organizations, even at some official meetings in Montgomery. There will be no Veterans Day program this year. And then I saw Mark Roofing and stuff, and I went, who are you? And who is this savior of the Veterans Day thing? Now, that is the National Veterans Day program for the United States, not for Alabama. But Mark, you want to elaborate on that?
Well, that's absolutely right. And not many people, and especially people in Alabama, who should know that Veterans Day started right here in the state of Alabama, specifically in Birmingham, thanks to the efforts of Raymond Weeks, who, after returning from World War II, when we celebrated Armistice Day, which just was for those veterans of World War I, he said, we need to have a day that we celebrate the service of all the servicemen and women who in every war. So he took that initiative and pushed it through, and through his efforts and the efforts of who was then General Eisenhower, of course, became president, and Congressman Reese in Kansas were able to get the legislation written and pushed through, and had Armistice Day changed to Veterans Day.
Wow, I didn't know all that. I've been a part of that over there. I've been over there, I think 2 times. One, I was there with Governor Riley, and to sit up there in Boutwell Auditorium where we had it then. Mm-hmm. And I think I had a Admiral on the right and Miss Alabama on my left. I was sure out of my element. But that was an awesome deal. Some of the people who have been there, I remember I was over there for General Andre, the general that took over for Katrina, that deal there. I don't know if y'all were involved at that time, but there've been some awesome people. But this is what the thing about Veterans Day. We were talking in the Blue Room that I put on a Veterans Day program here since 1990, and I put the program together by myself. And I'm a veteran, a Vietnam veteran, and I've often envied the fact that you guys over there, was when Bill Voigt and put it together, it wasn't the veterans giving themselves a parade or wasn't putting on a program for themselves. When you do that, it's like giving yourself a birthday party. You know, this Veterans Day is to celebrate the veterans And Memorial Day, we memorize those who lost their life. The two separations from it, and they don't realize, the veterans shouldn't have to put on their own Veterans Day program. That's my opinion. But I do it, but I still think that they ought to be a individual group out there somewhere that come to my aid. I'm getting old. Hint, hint. Cathy, you've been doing this. You have to keep up with a lot of things. I'm sure one of the things is the cost, the banquet cost and things like that. Do you do all of that, or?
We do, yes. There's actually several events that are involved with putting on this. It's actually a 2-day event. And the first one is the Raymond Weeks Memorial Service, which is held in Lynn Park, which is downtown Birmingham. And then following that is the National Veterans Day Awards Dinner, which this year the award will go to the Tuskegee Airmen.
The who?
Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the night before.
That is the night before. That'll be on Sunday, November the 10th.
Yeah, okay.
And then on the 11th is actually another memorial service that will honor all the Alabama veterans that have passed within the past year. And then we have the World Peace Luncheon. And then we have our big parade. So there's a lot of different events that go on, and it's truly by donations. That's the only way that we do this. We have no paid employees, and everything's volunteer.
You get real bored, don't you? What do you do with your time?
Well,
Well, from that perspective, what you guys do, and God bless you for doing this, because it's not because it's a high salary job. People that step forward like y'all to do this, and the other side of that, from a veteran's perspective, like I'm a state officer, well, used to be the commander of the president of the Vietnam veterans for the state of Alabama. Our process will be, this is a great thing to be the Veteran of the Year of one of your service organizations. And we've got like 11 chapters in the state of Alabama. And these 11 presidents come to a meeting in Birmingham and Hoover, and they will bring their nominee to be Veteran of the Year for our organization. And they bring letters and they pass them out, what this person has done. And I bring one, somebody else bring one, and then at the end of that, we have to vote. The one that gets the most votes is our Veteran of the Year. It's not just somebody, hey, the next one through the door is our veteran. No. This is something that's, when you see one of our people on that stage, this has been, the entire state of Alabama has, but we take this serious. We make sure that somebody's not there just because they showed up, showed up at a lot of the meals and things like this. These are people that, what did you do above and beyond to make you our Veteran of the Year, to represent us on that stage? We're going to do it at BJCC, or is this at Boutwell now?
No, it's at the BJCC East Ballroom.
Okay. For somebody to step up there, and I don't know how the other organization do, but I'm telling you that we take it so serious, and it's such an honor to get that nice award. That's how we go about it. But y'all are doing on the other side to make it possible for us to do that. Now, the Veterans Day, how many years has this been doing it? Do you know off the top of your head?
Since 1947 from Birmingham. Officially, this is the 59th year. The legislation actually passed, and the first Veterans Day, official Veterans Day, was 1954, but we've been celebrating in Birmingham since 1947.
Yeah. You wouldn't remember none of that. You just debated. I wonder if they had parades back then. Do you know?
Yes.
They did?
Right.
they did.
That's an awesome thing. But let me ask you this. Have you ever rode in that parade? Have you ever went the route of it?
Well, I have
You went the
driven
route,
the route, but
no,
not
I'm
in the
talking about-
parade.
okay, on the
I've
float.
never done anything that was worthy of me being in a parade.
Yeah. I rode in the parade as a stake president one time in a convertible. And I had two guys in my chapter that walked carrying a banner. And that was in 1980 something. They're still hurting from it today. We got to go to a break. I got to come back. I want to talk more about the National Veterans Day. Stay where you are. I'll be right back with Mark and Cathy. Stay where you are. Welcome back into Veterans Issues. We're talking with Mark Ryan, Cathy Culberson from the National Veterans Day program over in Birmingham. And we left. I wanted to ask you, Mark, why did you want to do this? Is there something told you to step up there when Bill Boyd knew that? What was it?
Well, I wish I really knew.
Yeah.
after reading that newspaper article on that Saturday morning, and I just knew that there's no way we can allow this to just go away. Somebody had to do something, and no one else was stepping up. And so, I thought, what's the harm in asking anyway? So we asked, and Bill Voigt was more than willing to turn it over. So here we are.
Was your roofing, you got a partner in your roofing company?
Yes, I do. She's sitting right next to me.
And she didn't have any problem you doing that?
No, we got together and we discussed, because we knew it would be taking away time from our business, and we felt like we could do that and still run our business, because it needed to be done.
We always thought of Bill as it being a calling to do that, because what I was wondering if you were going to say if you had a military family background or whatever.
Well, I do have. My father was a career Army,
Yeah.
and my stepfather was career Navy. I never served myself, but I've always had that heart for the military.
And I told you before the show I don't do any gotcha questions, so I'll do it on Cathy. Why did you do it?
Well, basically the same thing. And my father served in World War II and was in the Korea War. And I actually have 3 nephews that are active right now in service, as well as brother-in-laws that serve too. So it's very dear to my heart. And
Well, being a veteran, when you see, it's like you plant a garden and you see it grow and you feel proud of it. When you guys finish up your Veterans Day thing and the people say things to you, or do you see things where veterans are emotional and things like that? That's your payoff, ain't it?
it is, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we do this to honor those people who have served and are serving right now, and things, just to give them and their families, because it's in more than just those people, it's their families are involved too.
Yeah.
So.
I always have a saying, not on television, but I'll say it for the first time. It says, when I talk to people, I think God says, what did you do while you was on earth? And you say, well, I had a bunch of service stations, I owned a bunch of stores, had some fine cars. They say, what did you do? This is what you do. This is what you folks are doing. What did you do while you was on earth? You made people get recognized for their service that otherwise would not have been done. I've seen them, big old, strong, tough people just fall apart when they are recognized there at that auditorium. And for that, it's a calling for you guys, whether you know it or not. And I just want you to know that as a veteran, I certainly appreciate somebody. We were worried to death after Bill Voigt that nobody would ever take the mantle and run with it. And you guys have, not only does it continue to run, but it's getting better every year. We know what you're doing over there. And I can't believe having a roofing company, you still work that into your schedule, but
that's our side business now.
And Mr. Voigt's still involved. I mean, we call him all the time, and he's there to answer any questions we might have.
Isn't it amazing how much knowledge he has?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he knew where all the bones were buried. And
well, Ken, let me say this. We do enjoy putting this together, but we couldn't do or have any of that or any of the other freedoms, including sitting here today, if it weren't for the veterans. That's what that means to me, living in a free country and having people that step up like the veterans do to keep it that way. So,
well, that's one of the easiest things to do is talk about that flag behind you and just wrap yourself in the flags. And then there's talkers and there's doers. And I'm looking at 2 doers here today. And the veterans out there see through that. They know who is, we got lots of talkers, but that's really awesome. And we talked about the other day, he was saying, we don't come into the studio here, TV24. In a lot of countries, you couldn't do this. You couldn't go out the door and go where you want to go back to Birmingham if you was in another country. So a lot of freedom based on. Now, I want to make sure we get into some of the things that Cathy's kicking me under the table here wanting to talk about. I mean, that is the 5K run and 10K run. Now, I could run that 10K run if somebody's shooting at my heels. No, I doubt that. They just have to shoot me. But tell me about that, how that ties in. This is the first time I've heard of that with a Veterans Day.
Actually, this is our first time to ever do this, and it will be October the 27th from 1 to 5 at the Veterans Park in Hoover, which is 4800 Valleydale Road in Hoover. But we are having a family 5K fun run event and also a 10K ruck challenge that's going on.
What is that?
They wear the big heavy backpacks. I believe
Oh, the
men
rucksacks.
have the rucksacks, and the men's will have to be 25 pounds. Women's are 10, and they will be running basically as teams on that. So.
Whoa. Okay, now if somebody wants to get into that, how do they do this? Is that a website?
It is at a website. They can go on to www.active.com and sign up that way, or they can contact us at the office, National
It's a
Veterans Day.
205-942-5300.
Correct, and we can give them the link to go to on that to sign up.
That's why the pin, folks, it's 205-942-5300 if you want to be involved in the run. Or my information's on here, and you can call me, and I'll get you in touch with them. But that when you threw that in there, I said, well, I know a lot of things that happen during the Veterans Day thing, but not the run. But that's in October the 27th.
October the 27th, like I said, from 1 to 5, and it's at Veterans Park in Hoover. So this is our first one, so we're really hoping we have a great turnout for it.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll talk about it next week here if we can get it in there. Now the parade. The parade's a big deal over there. That's what, about 7 miles of parade or something like that? If you walk in it, it's 75 miles. How does, can people enter they still today, as they're watching the show, can they still enter into the
Absolutely.
parade?
Absolutely.
Okay. And that would be through the website.
You can go on the
Yeah.
website and actually download an entry form. And
So you see that website right here, Kids is putting it up there. You see it?
right,
There it is. That's my Vanna White thing.
that's right.
And it's www.nationalveteransday.org. One word, nationalveteransday.org. And you can get into the parade, enter your, I don't know, do you have things you can't enter?
Well, we want to stay, of course, with anything that is patriotic or brings honor and respect to.
You don't
to
put the
veterans.
horses up front, do you?
We put the horses where they tell us. We have tried to get the horses moved, but they can't put them toward the end because they're afraid
I have followed
of
the horses
fire
before,
trucks.
believe you me. I have followed the horses. And horses let you know they've been there.
They sure do.
They do.
We had, now, if somebody wants to make donations, or if you want to get tickets to the event, that's worth the ticket to come to the VJCC to watch this. And they do that through the same website, right?
Right.
Or call that phone number you take it.
And we
Ticket forms are available to print out there as well. We still have seating available.
Well, see, it's hard for me to have a program here locally at the same time and then advertise yours, but I'm going to do that. I'm doing that here today. I'm talking about this in Birmingham, but that is awesome. If, like I said, sitting there with Admirals on one side and Miss Alabama on the other side, and I'm sure she felt real nervous sitting with somebody like me. But that's what we're doing, what you guys are doing is awesome. And this whole state is obligated to you, and all the veterans owe you a big thanks. And so I'm on their behalf, I'm going to thank you for them. Thank you for showing up today. We can do that.
Oh, which one?
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate y'all
Sure.
coming down here, and we'll be talking about it. The National Veterans Day, November the 11th in Birmingham, Alabama. We got to go to a break, come back. I've got news that you can use. Stay right there. Welcome back in, and thanks to Mark and Cathy for coming in and doing the show today. And November the 11th, Birmingham Veterans Day. The parade and the events, and if you got any questions about that, you can contact me and I'll put you in touch with the folks that handle that. I want to tell you about the Veterans Court that Judge Stedham and others are working on here. I don't know if Judge Stedham is going to handle this or one of the other judges, but I do know that she has been talking about it. So if you're interested in working with the Veterans Court, I know the sheriff is involved, John and Garlick is involved, lots of others, and if you're interested in being a part of that, give me a call and I'll hook you up with a judge, and that's a very awesome program, and it does a lot of good things. It helps the community, and it's a win-win situation with the veteran and the community. So, and you always hear me talking about the disabled veterans van that takes the veterans to the VA hospital from Oxford, and it leaves early in the morning. We need some more drivers. And Mr. Paul Brulé is the one that hands up that program. But you, again, call my number and I'll hook you up with Paul. If you're retired and you are looking for something to do that, like Mark and them, that is really, you get a bang back by appreciation from the veterans, this is a great deal. This is a noble cause, and the veterans need a ride and you can help them do that. So, and we've got some new drivers that did stand up, and some new ones going out here in the next few days. You have to go through a physical and everything, but give me a call and we'll hook you up for that. So if you're a veteran and you're looking for work, we'll call my friend Sonny Miller. I think Sonny's going to retire in January, but until then, if you're a veteran, you're looking for work, here's the number to call. 256-832-0147, extension 244. And that'll put you in touch with him. He works for the Alabama Employment Service, and he's the veterans representative for that. The VA parking, we always talk about that, but some good news is they've purchased some property over there, and they're going to build a new parking lot east of the UAB, and we'll probably in the next 30, 40 years. I don't know when that'll happen, but they are working on a new parking lot just for that. And HMR is still hiring down at the Pell City, HMRVeteranServices.com. HMRVeteranServices.com. Go on the career button and click on, and they'll tell you what jobs are available. They was hiring 300, and that facility is almost full. There's still jobs available though, so give them a call or hook up on that website. Now, a lot of you have seen the cane I had on here with the eagle head on it, and they asked me about it. Matter of fact, some people were taking pictures of it the other day. Now, the guy that makes those is Jack York, and Jack's number is 256-237-4743. Give Jack a call. Now, if you'd like to help build the law enforcement, firefighters, Afghanistan, Iraq memorials, we need some donations. Send those tax-exempt donations to Community Foundation, P.O. Box 1826, Anniston 36202. That's P.O. Box 1826, Anniston 36202. And let's see, your DD-214. Last week I had a veteran that passed on. Folks didn't have the DD-214. Please make sure somebody in your family knows where your DD-214 is located. That's your discharge papers, and you'll have to have that. They were trying to get a military funeral. And I have to tell you this too, folks, if you are retired military and you're looking for a military funeral with taps and the rifles, because of budget cuts, they don't give the rifles anymore. Just the taps and the flag is all you're going to get. We got to run this week's shout-outs, the same ones I give you all the time. You know who you are. I don't have time for that. This week's salute is going to go to all those involved in National Veterans Day. Appreciate them. We'll see you next week here on Veterans Issues. Salute. We're out of here.